again at the e4 square is sort of the prescribed way of treating this.
Yeah, I don't know. I never know what to do here with white. Take knight d2, bishop f3, but then you get very little. He does take and does go knight d2.
Well, you go back, maybe bishop f3 in some positions, but yeah, it's obviously not going to be a lot. Even taking an e5.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Oh, that's why he goes knight takes,
queen
takes e5.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the reason why he's taken with a knight, to have the option of just ignoring e5 and going bishop g3. Because otherwise he would have to respond to it. I wonder if MVL is planning to play f5 after bishop g3 or just queen e7 and say, yeah, show me.
Show me the money. White doesn't have a lot to work with. Then again, you could argue a5 did slightly weaken these light squares on the queen side.
But the knight is so far away from them.
No, I was thinking king. Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, if we get there. I guess Magnus is wondering if he should play bishop g5, because I don't really see... I mean, yeah, that must only be connected with bishop g5, otherwise it makes no sense.
Knight e5, showing some respect.
Yeah, recognizing that d5, bishop g5 could get awkward, so he is trying to trade off more of those somewhat passive pieces. I like this. I think objectively black is just fine.
I tend to be in favor of exchanging off pieces. Rook c1, but yeah takes
now,
AB, and
now
we are cruising.
Fine, yeah.
Now black is slightly better.
Well,
Also
I think
bishop b2. Pushing it a bit, Mr. Magnus.
That may have been missed. That may have been missed. It does require black to leave the long diagonal with the bishop, but yeah, what's the...
Pawn is a pawn.
But he decided...
But Maxi boy...
He probably didn't spot it because he would have gone for it. But yeah, I mean, he is perfectly fine here anyway.
Yeah. And he also lets the knight live, which I'm surprised by. I thought he'd take and go rook somewhere.
Yeah, but then c5. I think white just starts with the c5 break the minute it becomes available.
But now Magnus will keep the knights on the board and
probably
hope for tricks.
Probably. Although, I mean, objectively, knight d4, even c7, c5, black is not really suffering.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
A great deal.
5 CB.
Knight d4 played, and yeah, I mean, if you allow before b5, you do start running some objective positional risks. Even take on e5, plan the knight on c6, start playing sort of around.
Yeah, or even this maneuver, like now I would contemplate.
Yeah. Rook a2, b5, so white does get his preferred structure on the queen side, but black controls utterly the one open file on the board, so I think black is quite comfortable here. Even take with the bishop, I guess, put the queen on f6. Without the a file, it's kind of awkward for white to even try doing something. You probably want to trade at least one pair of rooks if at all possible. But Magnus gets the knight over to d5, which is, I think, a very good maneuver.
Because this knight on c6 sometimes can be a bit of fool's gold, right? It looks nice, but it doesn't really contribute. But
yeah, that's an important transfer. Knight d5, you have to make some awkward moves. Black probably is still not doing that horribly because he has the a file. But
all my money is on Magnus here.
Yeah, I think Magnus definitely won that little bit of a game. The game. Rook b1, I guess, so as not to allow rook a1 at any point. The bishop goes back to g7, f5. It does become concrete at some point, and because black has the a file, he might still hold by creating some counterplay if he doesn't get mated straight away, but that's not a given.
Really doubt it. Yeah.
That's not a given at all that he doesn't get mated in the immediate future here.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Rook f5. Thought you want queen h5, but this, of course, is more direct.
Yeah, rook a1, rook goes back to f1, and yeah, now that one pair of rooks, in particular now that one pair of rooks is gone, white just feels very, very safe because black will never generate enough counterplay on the queen side for white to get worried about that counterplay.
Technically, they're not gone yet.
Yeah, and MVL is trying to create something concrete.
No tricks.
No tricks just yet, although they might appear later. Rook a1, yeah, Magnus is going for technical
just queen e2.
Queen e2, I guess, take maybe even with the queen on f1. Queen g4. Yeah, he's sure he will.
Cute.
He'll. Yeah, I mean, he knows the king will not get. There will never be a perpetual. And yeah, this is quite a horrible endgame for black. All sort of stemming back to the decision you very correctly pointed out. The knights should have been gone. Even if you don't spot knight f3, queen f3, you should be
just
two.
take and any move, rook a4, whatever.
Yeah, it was a weird decision to keep the knights on. It still requires some work to win this, but Magnus is, very, very capable in these positions. Yeah, rook a2. He may have misplayed it a little bit actually, because black generated.
No, it takes. Now it gets sharp again.
But yeah, the pawn on b6 is the target here. It's not the c7 pawn. The important one is the next one, which he probably will collect in the immediate future. We go rook b2, I guess. I don't like the rook on g5. I think, well, I mean, he starts creating immediate counterplay, but I think the b pawn is faster. Yeah, I wanted to place it on b2 and then start running with the h pawn, because here I think you're just not fast enough.
King e2, not king e4. I have 5.
King
d3.
Yeah, I guess.
Some point.
King d3, but then the king runs to g4. Maybe I was overly pessimistic about black's chances. Rook g2 now, king f3. So he goes. I don't understand rook g4 check. I think.
Whoa, knight f4. I don't understand anything anymore.
Well, I mean, he wants to take the h pawn. Yeah, this rook endgame is completely winning for white. But yeah, I think at some point they probably played on something like 5 seconds with increment, and mistakes crept in. But yeah, this is just resignable. After king e4, I think f5 and f4 was probably the better choice. But
yep.
But yeah, Magnus continues to take positions where you would have to say he has no objective advantage and just transform them into very, very promising positions.
Here I thought it was slightly worse. First of all, maybe you can grab the pawn and then.
But yeah, I think if you do what you suggested, take on b4, take on f3, and go rook a4, white kind of needs to immediately play c5 and rook b4 takes rook d1. You might actually, maybe this is why MVL decided to avoid these things, but yeah, letting the knight leave and then allowing b5. I think maybe an even more important decision, which we kind of remarked on but very briefly, was not playing c5. I think you kind of need to play c5 in these types of positions to not get what he ended up guessing. Levon beat Sergey.
One game still going. Let's chime in or jump in.
Yeah, Hikaru is probably completely winning because there should be a mating attack here.
But where is he? Can we find him?
Seemingly not.
He's gone.
Yeah, the game is already over apparently, and either black lost on time or white played king g3 and black resigned because there's mate. Rook h2 is a queen b3, king g4. There are no more checks, and both rook h2 and knight g5 are huge threats. Yeah, people are saying Naka swindled Fabi somewhere in time trouble, but yeah.
Blitz, hard to avoid time trouble.
Yeah.
And Drawgangster Anish in the chat is saying, my god, Giri plays like wet paper. So my question is, do you mean my god, comma, Giri plays like wet paper, or do you mean my god, Giri plays like wet paper? No,
I read it. I never assume people make grammar mistakes. So yeah, we have to go with the with what it says literally, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't consider it a grammar mistake not to put the comma there.
Well, on the internets maybe, but in general.
Yeah. But
no, we take it at face value.
All right.
This
is the chat, but I meant to bring up.
He worships Anish, but Anish does not repay him with kindness in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm not very well read when it comes to gods. We have to watch American Gods.
Yeah, that needs to be done.
Yeah, I don't have any Anish Ganesh material, for example. So has 3.5 out of 6, but Magnus Carlsen is far away out in front with 5 out of 6. Already booked the ticket to.
Yeah, and Lev by winning and leapfrogging MVL has also, I think, more or less secured his finish in the top 5. MVL and Wesley are now on +1, and Hikaru, by winning this game, is actually in clear 5th.
On
Ahead
50%.
Yeah, ahead of all the people who had 50%
Things
just
changed.
now. Yeah,
They all lost?
yeah. Sergey lost, and also Fabi lost. Yeah, my 2 picks for qualifying for 5 whites actually both lost in game 6. I will commentator's curse. That's a thing.
Is that a thing?
It is most assuredly a thing. Yes.
All right.